"They're starting," Minji said, watching the monitors in the command center. Jum gave the order. "Activate the shield network." Thousands of satellites around Earth began emitting the disruptive frequency. On the screens, they watched as the Tahoe energy collectors sputtered and failed. "It's working," someone shouted. But their celebration was premature. The Tahoe shifted tactics, targeting the satellites with precision weapons. "They're taking down the network," Jum observed grimly. "We need to hold out until the Nari arrive." For the next 6 hours, Earth fought its first interstellar battle. Military spacecraft made suicide runs to protect key satellites. Ground-based weapons fired at Tahoe ships when they came within range. Jum coordinated it all, his space experience proving invaluable. Just as the shield network was failing, new ships appeared. The Nari defense fleet had arrived. Their advanced weapons targeted the Tahoe vessels with devastating precision. The battle ended quickly after that. The remaining Tahoe ships retreated, jumping to fold space with the Nari in pursuit. In the aftermath, humanity faced a new reality. They were not alone in the universe, and they had just survived their first contact with hostile aliens. 1 year later, Jun and Minji stood on the hill overlooking their childhood hometown. The old tree fort was still there, though weathered by time. "It doesn't look so different," Jun observed, "despite everything that's changed." Earth had joined the galactic community as a protected developing world with special status. The Nari Council had appointed Minji as ambassador to Earth, while Jun had been chosen to represent humanity's interests to the wider galaxy. "Do you think they made the right choice, making us the bridge between our worlds?" Minji asked. Jun took her hand, their fingers intertwining naturally despite their different origins. "Who better than us? We already bridged that gap as children without even knowing it." Below them, the town had a new addition, a small building with both human and Nari architecture, serving as a local cultural exchange center. Children from both species played in its gardens, learning each other's games and languages. "Your childhood note came true after all," Minji said softly. "If you ever need help, even from the stars, I'll find a way." Jun smiled. "And your promise too, you did come back." As the sun set over their childhood playground, now the birthplace of a new era for both their peoples, Jun and Minji sat in comfortable silence, no longer a human and an alien, but simply two friends who had found each other again across the stars. "The drive system I helped create wasn't just about traveling faster. It was about reaching further, understanding more." His voice grew stronger. "We developed this technology independently, without knowing about other civilizations. Imagine what we could contribute as part of a galactic community." A council member with silver markings spoke up. "The human makes a compelling point about their potential, but the Tahoe threat remains real." "We have evidence," cried the council member who had been checking communications. Kyan received promises of advanced technology for personal use. And, she paused, looking troubled, coordinates to other protected worlds the Tahoe might harvest after Earth. The chamber erupted in angry voices. Kion backed away, reaching for something in his robe. "He has a weapon," Minji shouted, lunging forward. Guards moved quickly, subduing Kion before he could activate whatever device he had concealed. The council leader stood, his face grim. "The vote was based on false information and corruption. It is invalidated." He looked at Jun and Minji. "But the Tahoe fleet is still approaching Earth. Even if we send our defense forces now, they may not arrive in time." Jun stepped forward. "There's another way. Earth needs to know the truth. Let humanity defend itself, with your help." "Reveal ourselves to an entire planet?" a council member asked, alarmed. "It goes against all protocols." "So does letting a world die because of our failure to act," Minji countered. "Earth deserves the chance to fight for itself." After a tense discussion, the council reached a new decision. Earth would be warned, and the Nari would provide defensive technology to help fight the Tahoe threat. "We'll need to move quickly," the council leader said. The Tahoe will reach Earth in less than 2 days. Aurora can get us there faster, June said confidently. And I know exactly who on Earth needs to hear this first. The return journey took just 18 hours with the enhanced fold drive. As they approached Earth, they detected the Tahoe fleet already in position near the moon. They're early, Minji said worriedly. They must have had advance notice from Keon. We still have time, Jun replied, sending an encrypted message to Space Command. If we can get world leaders to coordinate a response immediately. When they dropped out of fold space, they were met by Earth's military spacecraft, primitive compared to alien technology, but positioned defensively around the planet. This is Captain Jum Kim requesting emergency communication with Space Command leadership, June broadcast. After tense minutes of waiting and explaining, they were granted permission to land at the Space Command headquarters, surrounded by armed guards. Inside a hastily assembled war room, Jun and Minji faced the skeptical faces of military and government leaders from around the world. I know this sounds impossible, Jun said after explaining the situation, but in less than 6 hours, those ships will begin harvesting Earth's energy field. When they do, most complex life forms will begin to die. Why should we believe any of this? Demanded one general. Minji stepped forward, allowing her appearance to shift to her natural Nari form. More angular features, iridescent skin, eyes that reflected light differently. Gasps filled the room. Because I've been living among you, protecting your world for longer than any of you have been alive, she said simply. And now I'm offering you the means to save yourselves. She connected her device to their systems, uploading specifications for defensive shields that could be adapted to Earth's existing satellite network. If we modify the satellites to generate this frequency pattern, it will disrupt the Tahoe harvesting technology, she explained. And your people? Asked a female leader. You said reinforcements are coming. The Nari defense fleet will arrive within 12 hours, Minji confirmed. But the initial defense must come from Earth. What followed was the most remarkable cooperation in human history. Nations that had been enemies shared resources and technology. Scientists worked frantically to implement Minji's modifications. Space agencies worldwide launched emergency missions to upgrade key satellites. As the countdown reached 0, the Tahoe ships moved into formation. Massive energy collectors deployed from their vessels, reaching toward Earth like hungry fingers. I'm worried about what we'll face at the Council. If the opposition has a strong argument, or if they've somehow swayed more votes. June took her hand. We'll face it together. You showed me the truth, and I'll make sure they hear it. She looked up at him, her eyes reflecting the swirling colors around them. When did you start believing me completely? Probably when you risked your life to help me escape instead of just taking what you needed from my mind, he said with a small smile. That seemed like something the Minji I knew would do. The ship chimed, indicating their approach to the Nari system. As they exited fold space, a beautiful blue-green planet appeared before them, surrounded by 3 small moons. Nerith, Minji said proudly. My home. As they approached, several sleek ships moved to intercept them. Escort vessels, Minji explained. They're guiding us to the landing area. The descent to the planet's surface revealed sprawling cities built in harmony with the natural landscape. Buildings seemed to grow from the ground like crystal formations, connected by graceful bridges. When they landed, a delegation was waiting for them. Tall, elegant beings with features similar to Minji's true form. Their leader stepped forward. Minji, daughter of Terran, he said formally, the council awaits your testimony. As they were led through the crystal city toward a massive dome structure, Minji grew increasingly tense. Something's wrong, she whispered to June. Kaon should be here. He's the head of my research team and was supposed to present our findings alongside us. Inside the council chamber, 12 Neri sat in a semicircle on raised platforms. They watched silently as June and Minji were brought before them. The central figure spoke. We have heard much about the human who created the energy signature that mimics Earth's core resonance. Honorable Council, Minji began. I bring Captain Jum Kim to testify about humanity's potential and the need to protect Earth from the Tahoe threat. That will no longer be necessary. A voice called from the side of the chamber. A Nari stepped forward, taller than the others, with a cold expression. Kaon, Minji gasped. Where have you been? Making arrangements that better serve our people, he replied smoothly. The Tahoe fleet has already been granted permission to harvest Earth's outer energy layer. In exchange, they will leave the core intact, preserving the most essential species, including the small human population. You betrayed us, Minji whispered. You made a deal with them without council approval. The council has already voted, Kayan said with a thin smile. 7-5 in favor of my compromise. Earth will be harvested, but not destroyed completely. It's the logical solution. June looked around the chamber, realization dawning on his face. This wasn't a hearing. It was a trap, and humanity's fate had already been decided. June stared at Kian, his mind racing. The fate of Earth had been decided without humanity having any say in the matter. He looked at the council members, wondering which had voted to save his world and which had condemned it. This is wrong, he said, stepping forward. You can't decide the future of billions of lives as if they're just resources to be managed. Kayan's expression hardened. Humans don't understand galactic politics. The Tahoe would take everything if we hadn't negotiated this compromise. A compromise you made without full council approval, Minji challenged. Show them the actual agreement, Kian. The council leader leaned forward. What does she mean? Minji pointed to her former colleague. Check his private communications. I believe you'll find he's been promised something in return for this compromise, perhaps Tahoe technology or personal power. Murmurs spread through the chamber. One of the council members waved her hand, and a holographic display appeared before her. I'm checking the communication logs, she announced. Kayam's confident expression faltered. This is a waste of time. The Tahoe fleet is already approaching Earth. The agreement is finalized. June seized the moment of doubt. Honorable Council, I came here to show you something. May I? After receiving a nod from the leader, June connected his ship's data core to their system. The chamber filled with images of Earth, its oceans, forests, cities, and people. This is my home, June said simply. These are my people. We've only just begun to understand our place in the universe. We've made mistakes, yes, but we're learning. We create art, music, literature. We explore, we dream. He showed them the history of human space exploration, from the first rockets to his own missions. The Space Command Center's security was tight, but June's high-level credentials got them through the first 3 checkpoints. His story about needing to check Aurora's systems for an urgent modification was believable enough. He had done similar late-night work many times before. Something's wrong, Minji whispered as they approached the final security door. That guard isn't human. Jun glanced at the stone-faced security officer checking IDs. How can you tell? His eyes. Tahoe eyes don't track movement naturally. As they reached the front of the line, the guard stared at Jun's ID longer than necessary. His hand slowly moved toward the alarm button. Minji stepped forward, smiling brightly. Excuse me, but Commander Park is expecting us urgently. There's an issue with the fold drive calibration that could compromise tomorrow's test. The guard hesitated, his hand hovering. You can call him to confirm, she continued, but he specifically said to avoid delays. After a tense moment, the guard nodded and waved them through. How did you do that? June whispered once they were past. Basic suggestion technique. Works on Tahoe because they're not used to direct confrontation. She glanced back nervously. But he'll check with his superiors soon. We don't have much time. Aurora waited in the massive hangar, sleek, silver, and untested. Designed for long-range exploration, it had living quarters, advanced laboratories, and the most powerful engines ever built. She's beautiful, Minji said as they approached. June placed his hand on the security scanner. The ship's entry ramp lowered smoothly. "Welcome aboard, Captain Kim," the ship's AI greeted him. Once inside, June worked quickly, overriding safety protocols and initiating the pre-launch sequence. "They figured it out," Minji warned, looking at her device. "Security is converging on the hangar." June's fingers flew over the controls. "Strap in. This is going to be rough." The ship's engines roared to life as the hangar doors began to close above them. Alarms blared throughout the facility. "Hold on," June shouted, pushing the throttle forward. Aurora shot upward, barely clearing the closing doors. G-forces pushed them back into their seats as the ship climbed rapidly through the atmosphere. "They're scrambling fighters," Minji reported, watching the radar. "They won't catch us," June said confidently. "Not once we engage the fold drive." He entered coordinates Minji provided and activated the experimental system. The stars around them stretched into lines, then vanished completely as Aurora leaked beyond light speed. The journey to the Nari homeworld took 3 days in fold space. During that time, Minji taught June about the galaxy's true nature. "There are 17 spacefaring civilizations currently active in our galaxy," she explained as they floated in the ship's observation deck, surrounded by the swirling colors of fold space. "Some are younger than humanity. Some are millions of years old. And Earth never knew," June marveled. "Your planet has been under observation protection. It's a common practice for worlds with developing civilizations." She created a holographic map showing dozens of planets. "These are all the worlds under similar protection. What makes Earth special then? Why do the Tahoe want it specifically?" Minji's expression grew serious. "Because your planet does something none of these others do. It creates life at an astonishing rate. The diversity of species, the speed of evolution, it's unprecedented." She showed him images of strange alien landscapes. "Most life-bearing worlds have a few hundred species. Earth has millions. It's as if your planet itself is alive in a way we don't fully understand." As the days passed, their childhood bond deepened into something more. They shared meals, talked about their lives since they'd been apart. And gradually, the line between human and alien seemed to blur. "Your people think so differently," Minji said one evening. "Nari are connected to each other mentally from birth. We share thoughts, feelings. The concept of being alone in your mind is terrifying to us. But it gives us independence," June replied. "We have to learn to trust each other without knowing exactly what the other is thinking. It makes connection more meaningful." Minji considered this. "I never thought of it that way." "That's beautiful, actually." On the final night before reaching the Nari homeworld, June found Minji in the observation deck, looking troubled. "What's wrong?" he asked. "What do you mean?" "Some believe we should evacuate Earth of its most valuable resources, including some human specimens, and then allow the Tahoe to take what's left. They argue it's the most pragmatic solution." Her voice hardened. "I disagree. This planet deserves to be protected in its entirety." June felt sick at the thought of his world being sacrificed as part of some alien compromise. "And which side has more influence with your council?" "It's evenly divided, which is why the evidence you can provide is so crucial. Your experiences with the quantum fold drive could prove that humanity is ready to join the wider galactic community as equals, not as specimens to be preserved." "But I'm just one person. One space explorer. How could my testimony sway an alien council?" Minji's eyes shone with intensity. "Because you've done what no other human has. You've created technology that mimics the fundamental energy of this planet. Without even realizing it, you've taken the first step toward becoming a truly spacefaring civilization. The Council needs to see that." A beeping sound came from one of her devices in the corner of the cave. Minji rushed over to check it. "They're scanning this area," she said, her voice tense. "The Nari who oppose me. They know we're somewhere nearby." "What do they want?" "To stop us from reaching the Council. And," she paused, "to take you into custody for study." Study. The word made Jum's blood run cold. Your mind contains the knowledge of the quantum fold drive. They want to extract it directly rather than risk you speaking to the council. She began quickly gathering her equipment. We need to leave Earth. Leave Earth? How? I have a ship hidden in orbit. We can use a transport device to reach it, but we need to get to higher ground first, away from the waterfall's interference. Jun tried to process everything. Just hours ago, he had been a returning space explorer visiting his hometown. Now he was about to leave Earth with an alien who claimed to be his childhood friend to speak before an alien council about a threat to humanity's existence. If I go with you, he said slowly, what guarantee do I have that you're telling the truth? That this isn't some elaborate trick? Minji stopped what she was doing and walked over to him. She took his hand and placed it over her heart. Feel that? She asked softly. My heart beats just like yours. Different biology, same purpose. She held his gaze. I could have taken you against your will. I could have extracted your knowledge without your consent. But I'm asking you to help me save this world because I believe in humanity's potential. And because, she paused, I never forgot my promise to my best friend. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, worn piece of paper. Jun recognized it immediately, the note he had written to her the night before his 12th birthday. If you ever need help, even from the stars, I'll find a way. As Jun looked at his childhood handwriting, he made his decision. What do we need to do? The mountain peak gave them a clear view of the valley below. Lights from police cars and what looked like military vehicles moved along the roads leading to the waterfall. Not all of those are human authorities, Minji said, adjusting her transport device. Some are Tahoe agents in disguise. They move fast. How do they look so human? Jun asked. Biosynthetic suits. They're inside, controlling human-looking shells. She shuddered slightly. It's not a perfect disguise, but it works well enough to fool most humans. A helicopter appeared in the distance, its searchlights sweeping the mountainside. We need to move now, Minji said. The transport might not work once they start jamming signals. Wait, Jun said. I have a better idea. We need to get to the Space Command Center. What? Why? The new experimental ship, Aurora. I helped design its systems. It has a modified version of the quantum fold drive that's never been tested. If what you say is true about the drive's energy signature, it might be our best way to reach your council. Minji considered this. It would be faster than my ship. The council is several light years away. I can get us access. My credentials should still work. The helicopter grew closer, its searchlight nearly upon them. Deciding now would be good, Jun said tensely. Minji nodded. Let's do it. She adjusted her device, and a moment later, the mountain dissolved around them. Meet me there in 1 hour. Come alone, and make sure you're not followed. She handed him a small, smooth stone that seemed to glow faintly from within. Keep this with you. It will help me find you if we get separated. Before he could ask more questions, she leaned forward and whispered, Zulab Mek Tori Kan, Jun, then slipped out the back door of the cafe. Jun sat there, the strange stone warm in his palm, wondering how his homecoming had turned into something from one of his childhood science fiction books. Only this wasn't fiction, and the girl next door had never been human at all. The hike to the waterfall took Jun nearly 40 minutes. Every snapping twig and rustling leaf made him look over his shoulder. The stone Minji had given him grew warmer the closer he got to the falls, confirming he was heading in the right direction. The cave behind the waterfall had been their special place as children, a secret hideaway where they could be explorers of alien worlds. Now it seemed those childhood games held more truth than he had ever imagined. Ducking through the curtain of water, Jun found the cave transformed. Soft blue lights lined the walls, and strange devices hummed quietly in the corners. Minji stood in the center, her appearance fully human now, checking something on her wrist device. You came, she said, relief evident in her voice. "Did you think I wouldn't? I hoped you would trust me, but I wouldn't blame you for thinking I'm crazy." She gestured around. "I've set up a temporary base here. The waterfall disrupts their scanning technology." June touched one of the blue lights. It pulsed gently under his fingers. "What exactly is going on, Minji?" "The full truth this time." She nodded and sat down on a flat rock, motioning for him to join her. Earth is at the center of an interstellar power struggle that has been going on for thousands of years. She pulled up a holographic display from her wrist device. A map of the galaxy appeared between them, with several areas highlighted in different colors. "My people, the Nari, have been Earth's silent guardians for over 10,000 years. We were drawn here by the incredible biodiversity of your planet. Nothing like it exists anywhere else in our explored galaxy." The map zoomed in on Earth, showing swirling patterns of energy surrounding the planet. This planet doesn't just host an amazing variety of life forms. It generates a unique energy field that accelerates evolution and adaptation. It's why life here is so diverse and resilient. "And other aliens want this energy?" June asked. "Yes. The Tahoe discovered its potential centuries ago. They're a species that depletes planets of resources, moving from world to world. They use this special energy to power their technologies and extend their lifespans. When they harvest it, they destroy the planet's ability to sustain complex life." June felt a chill run down his spine. They want to do this to Earth. They've been searching for Earth for a long time. The Nari have worked to keep your planet hidden, creating a sort of protective shield around your solar system that masks its unique signature. Her expression darkened. "But that shield has weaknesses, and your deep space missions punched right through one of them." "My missions? How?" "Your new propulsion system, the quantum fold drive. Its energy signature is remarkably similar to the natural energy field of Earth. When you activated it near Proxima Centauri, it was like lighting a beacon." June stood up, pacing the small cave. "So it's my fault the Earth is in danger?" "No," Minji said firmly. "You couldn't have known. But your understanding of the drive is why I was sent to find you specifically. We need your help to modify it, to create a countermeasure before the Tahoe fleet arrives." "How long do we have?" 3 months, at most. They're already on their way." The reality of the situation hit June like a physical blow. 3 months to save the entire planet from an alien invasion. It seemed impossible. Why not just tell our governments? With the combined military forces of Earth, your weapons would be useless against them, Minji cut in. And revealing ourselves to global powers right now would cause panic and chaos. Exactly what the Tahoe want. Divided, humanity is easier to conquer. She pulled up another hologram showing a massive ship. "This is one of their harvesters. It's larger than your largest city and carries weapons that could vaporize continents." June stared at the image, trying to comprehend the scale of the threat. "Then what can we possibly do?" "We need to contact the Nari Council. With their help, we might be able to strengthen the shield around Earth again before the Tahoe get here." She hesitated. "But there's a problem. Not all Nari agree on how to handle this threat. And you insisted on hanging that weird wind chime your grandmother gave you," June added, the memory suddenly vivid. "It was made of shells and old pieces of metal. You said it would keep bad spirits away." Minji laughed. "It wasn't about spirits. It was actually a small detection device. My grandmother was also part of our observation team." June's smile faded. "So everything was a lie? Our friendship was just part of your research?" "No." Minji reached across the table, almost touching his hand before pulling back. "Our friendship was real. My family's mission was to observe and protect, but the connections we made were genuine. I wasn't supposed to become so close to a human, but I couldn't help it. You were," she paused, "special." The server brought them coffee that Minji had ordered. When they were alone again, June asked the question that had bothered him for years. "Why did you leave so suddenly? One day you were there, and the next, just a note saying you were moving away. Sadness crossed her face. It wasn't my choice. My family was recalled to our homeworld. There was a situation that required all observers to return immediately. She looked down at her cup. I begged my parents to let me say a proper goodbye, but there wasn't time. Writing that note was one of the hardest things I've ever done. You look almost the same, June observed. If you left 20 years ago, shouldn't you have aged more? My species ages differently than humans, she explained. We live much longer lives. What has been 20 years for you has been more like 5 or 6 for me, physically speaking. June took a deep breath, trying to make sense of it all. You said your people have been protecting humanity. From what? There are other species out there, June. Some peaceful, some not. Earth is special. Your planet has resources and biological diversity that make it valuable. Some would study it respectfully, as we do. Others would exploit it without regard for its inhabitants. Like who? The Tahoe are the most immediate threat. They're resource harvesters who strip planets of valuable elements, regardless of the impact on native species. She hesitated before adding, your deep space missions accidentally led them here. What? How? Your ship's new propulsion system created a unique energy signature that they detected. They've been trying to locate its source ever since. My people have been scrambling to throw them off Earth's trail, but it's only a matter of time before they find it. June felt sick. Had his explorations put Earth in danger? Why me? Why reveal all this to me specifically? Because you know more about deep space than almost any other human. And because I trust you. Her eyes met his. We need someone who understands both worlds to help us protect Earth. As she spoke, June noticed something changing in her appearance. The subtle alien features he had noticed earlier, the unusual eyes, the too perfect symmetry of her face, seemed to be fading. What's happening to you? He asked. Minji looked at her hands. I'm maintaining a fully human appearance. It takes energy, but it will make us less noticeable. She pulled out a small device that looked like an ordinary phone. This helps me communicate with my team and monitor for Tahoe signals. Her finger swiped across its surface. We should be safe for now, but we'll need tow. The device suddenly emitted a sharp tone, making both of them jump. Minji's face paled as she read something on the screen. What is it? June asked. They found me. Her voice was barely audible. My cover is blown. They know I've contacted you. The Tahoe. She shook her head. No. Worse. Someone from my own people who doesn't agree with our protection methods. There's a divide among the Nari about how to handle the Tahoe threat. She stood quickly. We need to leave. Now. Where are we going? Somewhere they won't think to look. She paused, looking at him intently. Do you remember the cave behind the waterfall, where we used to pretend we were exploring alien worlds? Despite everything, Jum smiled at the irony. I remember. We've been keeping track of you. Your work is important, more important than you know. She hesitated. My family wasn't recalled to another country when we left. We returned to our homeworld. But I've always remembered you, and when I had the chance to come back in a form you might recognize, I took it. June studied her face, searching for the little girl he once knew in this strange woman's features. Despite the subtle alienness, he could see traces of his childhood friend. The determined set of her jaw, the way her eyes crinkled slightly at the corners when she spoke passionately. If what you're saying is true, why have your people been hiding among us? What do you want? We're observers, June. We study developing civilizations. Earth has been of special interest because humans are. She searched for the right word. Unique in ways I can't fully explain here. We've also been protecting your planet from others who might not have such peaceful intentions. A chill ran down June's spine. Others. There are more aliens interested in Earth. Minji nodded gravely. That's why I needed to find you. Your last mission to the Proxima system didn't go unnoticed. You caught the attention of beings who have been searching for worlds like Earth for a very long time. As if on cue, Minji's wrist device emitted a soft beeping sound. She checked it, her expression darkening. "We don't have much time," she said urgently. "I've stayed in one place too long. They might have tracked me here." "Who might have tracked you?" June asked, feeling suddenly protective despite his lingering disbelief. "I'll explain everything, but not here." She stood, offering her hand. "Do you trust me, June? Like you did when we were children?" June looked at her outstretched hand. His scientific mind told him this was impossible, that he should demand proof. But something deeper, perhaps the boy who had once shared his dreams with a girl named Minji, made him reach out and take her hand. "I don't know if I trust you," he admitted, "but I want to hear more." A relieved smile spread across her face. "That's good enough for now. We need to move quickly." As they hurried away from the park, Jung couldn't help but wonder if his years searching the stars for alien life had blinded him to the possibility that they had been on Earth all along, and that one had been his childhood best friend. Minji led June through the back streets of Hambit, moving quickly but trying not to attract attention. They finally stopped at a small cafe tucked away between two larger buildings. The place was nearly empty, with just an old man reading a newspaper in the corner. "We should be safe here for a little while," she said, choosing a table far from the windows. June sat across from her, still processing everything. "I need more than just childhood stories to believe all this, Minji. If that's really who you are." She nodded patiently. "What would convince you?" June thought for a moment. "Our secret language. If you're really Minji, say something in it." A smile spread across her face. "Zula Mek Tori Kan," she said without hesitation. "That means the stars are watching us tonight. You created that phrase the summer we were 11, when we stayed out past curfew to watch the meteor shower." June felt his heart skip. They had spent months creating that made-up language, writing its rules in a small notebook they kept hidden in their fort. No one else could possibly know it. "That summer," Minji continued, "you told me you wanted to be an astronaut. You said you'd come find me if I ever got lost among the stars." Her eyes softened. "I never forgot that." Memories flooded back to June. Warm summer evenings lying in the grass behind Minji's house, pointing out constellations. Rainy days spent in their fort made of blankets and chairs, planning imaginary space missions. "Remember Archery Fort?" Minji asked. "How your dad helped us build it, but we decorated it ourselves. You painted stars on the ceiling while I covered the walls with pictures of planets cut from your old science magazines." Captain June stood at the edge of the old park, breathing in the familiar sense of his childhood. 15 years in deep space had made Earth's air feel almost foreign to him. The small town of Hanbit hadn't changed much since he left. The same corner store where he bought ice cream. The same crooked oak tree he used to climb. He walked down the path, hands in his pockets, watching children play on swings that might have been the very ones he used decades ago. Space travel had shown him wonders beyond imagination. Twin suns rising over crystal mountains, oceans that glowed in the dark, but nothing quite matched the simple comfort of returning home. As he neared the old pond, a woman sitting alone on a bench looked up. Something about her made June pause. She was beautiful, with long dark hair and delicate features, but there was something unusual about her eyes. They seemed to reflect light differently, almost like a cat's. The woman's face brightened with recognition. She stood and walked toward him with purpose. "June, is that really you?" Her voice was soft, but carried clearly. He studied her face, trying to place her in his memories. There was something familiar about her smile, the way she tilted her head slightly when speaking. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" he asked politely. "It's me, Minji. Don't you remember? We were neighbors when we were children. My family lived in the blue house next to yours." June's eyes widened. Minji, his childhood best friend. The girl who moved away suddenly when they were 13, leaving him with only a hastily written goodbye note. Minji, he repeated, confused. But you look different. She finished for him, a mysterious smile playing on her lips. I suppose I do. Something wasn't right. He remembered Minji clearly. They'd spent countless hours together exploring the woods, sharing secrets, dreaming about the stars. But the Minji from his memories had been entirely human. This woman, despite her familiar mannerisms, had subtle features that seemed almost otherworldly. Let's sit, she suggested, gesturing to the bench. I have something to tell you that might be difficult to believe. June followed her, curiosity overcoming his caution. When they sat, she turned to face him directly. What I'm about to tell you must remain between us, she said, her voice lowering. I am Minji, the same person you knew as a child. But I'm not human, June. He stared at her, wondering if this was some elaborate joke. Not human. What do you mean? My people are called the Nari. We've been living on Earth for generations, observing humanity. We can modify our appearance to blend in, but there are always small details that remain. She gently touched the corner of her unusual eyes. Most humans don't notice unless they're looking closely. June felt like the ground beneath him had shifted. He had spent his career searching for extraterrestrial life in distant star systems, and now one was claiming to have lived next door to him as a child. This is absurd, he said, standing up. I don't know what kind of game you're playing. Remember the treehouse we built in the old willow? How you fell and broke your arm, but made me promise not to tell your parents it was because you were trying to carve my name on the highest branch. She smiled at the memory. Or the time we found that strange rock by the creek and convinced ourselves it was a meteorite. You kept it under your bed in a special box with your space books. June slowly sat back down, his heart racing. No one knew those stories. They were private moments shared only between him and Minji. If you're really Minji, why are you telling me this now? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. She looked around carefully before answering. Because Earth needs your help, June. My people sent me to find you specifically. Your deep space missions have put you in a unique position. How did you even find me?